Good afternoon. We're back live on HireMilitary. I'm Matt Quick, the Director of Training and Development. I'm here today with Antonio Redding.
Backstage.
He just transitioned recently, so we're gonna have a conversation with him today, talk about his military career, talk about his military transition, DoD skill bridge, and life after the military. So, hey, welcome, Antonio.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Appreciate you guys taking the time out and having me.
Absolutely. So me and Antonio, we were like neighbors here a couple months ago, but he wants to move to Atlanta. So hey, you do, all right. So hey, tell us about your military career. What'd you do? Why'd you join? Those kind of things.
Yeah, it's funny, we talk about Georgia and Atlanta. So I'm originally from about 30 minutes down the road from where I'm at now. I'm living just south of Atlanta in McDonough. I'm originally from the area around Macon. So
nice town there.
Yeah, the town here is super nice. Again, it's really getting back close to home. Returning to Georgia was something me and the wife agreed upon many years ago, and when the decision to retire came around, we were like, so where are we going? And she's like, we're going home. We're going back to Georgia. We've been away from family for the last 15 years. The boy's got to grow up around his grandparents and his cousins. So we're going back to Georgia. So we found us a place to rent here in McDonough, and we moved in about 3 weeks ago, and we're just making it happen now.
Nice.
Yeah. So in terms of me, right? So like I said, originally from Georgia, just south of where I'm at now, straight out of high school, I joined the Army. Didn't really have a whole lot of positive prospects coming out of high school, even though I was at the top of my class. I didn't do a lot of work when it came to trying to find scholarships and the like. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't really a whole lot of money there to pay for college. And I was like, hey, the GI Bill and Army College Fund sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
Yes.
I'll give the Army a few years, and I'll go to school. A few years turned into, man, I really hate being a field artillery guy in the 82nd. It's fun, but that's not a career somebody's going to pay me to do long term other than the Army. So I changed jobs.
Still there? Hey, well, Antonio, there he is. You there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so I found myself in an IT role. The system prepared to I spent a lot of time at Fort Gordon. Hang on, connection keeps dropping out.
Okay.
Spent some time at Fort Gordon, Fort Huachuca, went to Korea, and I spent a whole lot of time at Bragg because I was originally in the 82nd jumping out of planes.
Okay. Hey, we're live. This thing's happened to our live. So as Antonio fixes this stuff, we'll figure it out. Hey, welcome back. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm gonna jump over to just a cellular connection real quick.
Okay. But hey, this is live. We checked this before things happen, and there's just so much bandwidth. Too many people watching us today. That's what happens sometimes. So, hey, in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can type your questions here on the chat with us. I'll watch a LinkedIn chat when he comes back. Ask some questions. Again, we're talking about military transition, life in the military. And for those that didn't see it today, on HireMilitary, we announced a great partnership for those that want to go into entrepreneurship, and that's Mobots, and that's by Husqvarna. So if you're within 12 months of separation, hey, come over to HireMilitary, join us, get an internship with Mobots. This thing actually mows your yard for you. If you have a Roomba, it's the same thing as a Roomba, but outside in your grass. Hey, welcome back, Antonio. I was just filling some time,
Yeah, it's still telling me poor connection on my side, so I don't know how well this is going to work today. But
we'll figure it out.
I'll keep talking.
Keep talking.
Yeah, I heard you talking about the Husqvarna Mobots thing there just now.
Yeah,
that sounds like it's pretty cool.
We just partnered with them today, and it's a great opportunity. Listen, I'm an old man, so I like doing my own lawn, but this thing, it can do it for you in the rain, not in the snow, but in the rain. It's a great thing. But hey, go ahead, talk about you though.
Yeah, so like I said, I talked about being at Bragg a whole lot. So a lot of times jumping out of planes, lots and lots of jumps out of planes, jump master, instructor training, all of that good stuff. And then 22 years later, I said, hey, I've had enough and we're going home. So, I find myself retiring in the middle of the COVID crisis of 2020, and we're in Atlanta and I'm looking for a job. So that's
if you're watching this Atlanta area, Antonio's looking for a job, and what do you want to do while you're in Atlanta? Antonio?
Yeah, so like I said, the last 15 years I've done IT, right? From network engineering, information security, all the way up to management. But where I really felt happy and kind of at peace with myself every day was network engineering, solving technical problems, right? So I want to find a role where I'm either a part of or leading a small team of folks, IT people, and we're getting after network problems. Could be SD-WAN, could be, software defined networking in general, data center type stuff, just somewhere here in the area where I don't have to commute for 4 hours because of traffic. And I just want to have fun making a difference.
So it's funny you mentioned traffic. Because I was in Atlanta for 4 years. I worked on Fort McPherson. It's closed down now, but I lived in McDonough, where you live, and traffic was a nightmare. And then I went to DC. That traffic's an actual nightmare. So I totally understand.
Yeah.
So did you feel stress while you're leaving the military? And if so, how did you cope with the stresses?
Yeah, I actually had my VA like mental exam earlier this week or late last week, and that was one of the things I talked with the site there about is how has the transition worked for me and how have you approach stress through it. So I leaned on my wife quite a lot. We sat down and talked through a lot of the things we were planning to do, the different things that were coming up for us and how we were going to handle those. And I can tell you, personal experience. I mean, you went through it too. Transition is different. It's hard, right? But it's different for everybody. The stressors that you face on a day-to-day basis in uniform, it's not that they're any less difficult. They're just different, right?
Yeah.
Every day there's a new set of problems. Hey, how are we going to put gas in the car today? Or is money coming from here today? How about this job? Do I want to take a job that I don't really want to do because it's a job, or do I want to hold out? Is an offer from this company worth what they're offering? Like it's different. So yeah, me and the wife sit down every night, every other night, when we're feeling kind of a little under pressure, and just kind of let it out. My kid is 4 right now, so he doesn't really get it. He just knows that we moved.
Yeah.
And to be honest, one of the ones that really struck me odd is how my dogs handle it. Getting in the moving truck and loading everybody up and putting the dogs in there, they were freaking out. They had no idea what's going on.
Really?
They just saw putting all our stuff in a van, and even now in the place we're renting, I think my dogs are still not quite sure what we're doing here. They'll go outside for like 5 minutes and they want to come back in. I think they think we're going to leave them. So,
oh wow, and they're part of the family though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my dogs are older than my son.
So even our pets feel stressed too.
Dog is almost 10. Yeah, that was it. Atlanta is only about 6 hours away from Fayetteville, so we made the drive pretty much in one shot. A couple hours on the road, and stop, let the dogs out, let my son out, change the diaper or whatnot.
Yep.
But yeah, they were just like, hey, we were here yesterday, and now we're in this other place that's completely different. What's going on? But yeah, it's totally different. Trying to make new friends is something that comes easy in the military because you're going to a new base, but you have the opportunity to fall back on the commonality of the work environment, right? You're all in the same unit, the same office,
Yep.
whatever. You got to be around each other. You might as well meet each other. That's not the case when you transition. You plop down in a neighborhood where you don't know anybody. 9 times out of 10, you got to figure
and you're by
out
yourself.
Yeah. But,
hey, Antonio, Josh Wielden has a question. Josh Wielden, okay. He asks, did you use SFL TAP, Career Skills Bridge Program, DoD Skill Bridge to gain any skills or knowledge before departing the military?
Okay, yeah. SFL TAP, everybody has to go through it. In my opinion, you get out of it what you put into it, right? So take advantage of every class they have to offer. Listen to the instructors. Some of it take with a grain of salt, but pay attention because there's nuggets of information in everybody's story. Everybody's transition is a little bit different. So you have to be mindful of the things that are going to stick out or be important to you and really go digging for those things. And don't be afraid to ask questions. They're there for a reason. They're both instructors and advisors, right? Because 9 times out of 10, hell, probably even 99 out of 100, they all transitioned at some point, right? So ask questions. Don't be afraid to reach out to the people sitting in class to your left and right. Those are still, connections that'll be very valuable in the future. You never know who knows who. So, make friends every day, networking. I went to Let's see. This was probably I don't know, maybe last summer. Mike Quinn came to Fort Bragg, and he had one of his LinkedIn workshops out in Southern Pines.
Yep.
And just by chance, I happened to be walking through my transition office one day and talking to the guy there, and he's like, "Hey, there's a workshop about using LinkedIn, happening in a couple of days. If you're interested, give me your name. I'll put you on the list. You can go." And I showed up, not really knowing what to think. And then Mike introduced himself. Hey, I'm a retired sergeant major. I was a, intelligence sergeant major, yada, yada. And I was like, man, I feel like we probably crossed paths somewhere in the recent past. But the course was only a couple of days, absolutely worth it. I've been on LinkedIn for probably 4 years as an IT guy, just, keeping track of what's going on in the world, talking to folks, staying in touch, but never really interacting and getting involved in actually like properly networking to the degree that I am now. It's kind of night and day, honestly. But the connections that I have now, are way better and different than what they were before. I mean, before that class with Mike Quinn, I probably had 20 connections. People that I barely talked to in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure how many connections I have now, but I know it's over a couple hundred. And just about everybody I'm connected to now is somebody I actually have an actual relationship with, somebody I talk to on a regular routine basis, or at least just interact with the things that they're posting.
And that's valuable too. Just growing your brand or getting networking, growing relationships, that's important, especially if you move into a new area.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's probably 10 or 12 people that I connected with in the last few weeks here in McDonough, just talking to and trying to get to know, I obviously completely remotely because we can't meet face to face.
Not these days.
I never would have known them or met them traditionally. It's not like they live in my neighborhood.
So LinkedIn's a powerful tool. So if you're on Facebook watching this, come to LinkedIn. It's where it's happening, guys. I'm telling you, it's where it's happening.
Yeah.
So did you take
that drama on Facebook though?
That's right. The politics drama on Facebook. Come to LinkedIn for professional stuff. I got that. Yeah. Hey, so when it comes to your DoD skill bridge opportunity, you took advantage of that, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I initially came across the Skill Bridge program, I don't know, maybe 8-9 months ago. It's probably about November timeframe last year. If you're watching now and you're further out than that, get on it now. Find somebody you want to work with, find a program, and start the paperwork and conversation process around it now, because that last 6 months will be upon you before you know it.
It goes fast.
Yeah. But that being said, I wish I had found it sooner. I was pretty fortunate. I learned about a sales account executive engineer program through an organization called TechQual that takes transitioning military with technical skill sets and teaches them how to sell, basically. So I used the career skills program to leverage TechQual's program and pick up some skills in that manner. However, by the time I finished it, I didn't have 3 months or 4 months left for the actual internship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it would have been better if I did, but I'm still not, I'm not done there. So TechQual as a program, a transition program, a teaching training program, absolutely phenomenal. Ruth Davis, Lex Brown, Todd Brown, the folks over there are knocking it out of the park, teaching people that have been doing IT or things, technical in nature for a while, how the business world works.
And you mentioned sales. So when someone watching this, they say, "Oh, I don't want to do sales. Sales is terrible." It's not door-to-door sales. Tell us what it is for high-tech sales.
No, and 9 times out of 10, it might not even be cold call, type blank customer reach out type sales. You may find yourself in an organization that already has existing customer relationships, and you're there to kind of manage those relationships and move additional product or address additional needs. So I mean, sales is just like the military, right? Sales is huge. It's really broad. There's a lot of things you can do inside, outside, B2B, B2C, so on and so forth. So picking up those skills and just understanding what the business world is looking for, how to work through negotiations, how to talk to people, and how to uncover the things that they're actually trying to do. That was huge. I had only ever approached sales from the customer side of it as an Army guy that did IT. I never understood, and at the time I never cared about the person trying to sell me's side of what that equation looked like. There's a lot to uncover there, and I mean we could talk for hours on end about it, but like it's just there's more to the picture than what we know going in, and I think there's a lot of people that are just hear the word sales and immediately are frightened. Like,
And they
oh my
turn
God,
off themselves. They said, "I don't want to do sales. I don't want to sell anything. I want to make a living."
Yeah.
But the jobs afterwards, what kind of jobs do you have afterwards?
Yeah, so it really looks like I've looked at some different roles like customer success. Trying to figure out what problems are.
Yep.
I've looked at legit IT technical jobs. Hey, I'm going to go be a network engineer for a little while. I've looked at real sales job. Hey, you're gonna go pimp people that and see if you can't move product. I'm like, okay, I'm not so sure if that's right for me, but it's an option, right? Based on the skill set that I picked up. It's nice to have options. I'll be honest, but
That's
don't
true.
find yourself in a situation where you have so many options you can't decide. Figure out what it is you want to do, and then make a plan. So right now I've got I just had an interview the other day. I didn't think that one was going to really work out. It was way more technical. It was more of a software development kind of engineer role, way more technical than I am. I'm a network engineer by trade. I know very little about APIs and writing code. So I gave it my best shot, but I don't think it was going to work out anyway.
Well, good. And those interested, if you're within 12 months of separation, get on the HireMilitary site, express interest in the tech qual industry. We'll connect you with Lex Brown. He's the director of recruiting. Have a conversation, but just don't say opportunity is sales. I don't want to do it. Just have the conversation. You may love it. We're seeing a lot of junior military officers, senior NCOs that are leaving, love these jobs because there's freedom, opportunity, and you get paid commission. It's a win-win. So give it a shot. So, Antonio, what are some mistakes that you made through your transition that you'd want to look back and hopefully change those for somebody else?
We talked really briefly about the financial aspect, right, of approaching transition. It's a very tumultuous time in your lifetime, in your career. One of the things you can do to remove a lot of uncertainty is get rid of as much debt as you possibly can.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about like a mortgage or anything like that, but like, credit card payments. If you've got a car loan that's almost paid off, that kind of stuff, just like get rid of those bills in your life. And that like drastically simplifies the things that you need to be concerned about. I was going to sell my house and I always knew that, but beyond my house, I didn't have any other debt as transition was approaching. And then I went and bought a new truck because the truck I had, it was a 2006 model, little Chevy Colorado. I had almost 300,000 miles on it. Like it was time. Right. And I was like, hey, I'm a year out. I was about 18 months out. And I said, I'm going to go buy me a new truck and I'm going to pay that thing down. And I bought it and I started paying it down and I didn't stick to the plan that my wife and I had put in place. So I owe a little bit more on it than what I was hoping. And honestly, that's the only bill I brought with me into transition.
And removing that debt really eliminated the stress and the anxieties, right?
Yep. Because it's one more bill that you don't have to worry about, right? And a lot of the issues in long-term relationships, marriages, whatnot, especially for military members, is about finances. How are we going to pay for this? What happens if the kids get sick? What do we do here? Add that onto moving to a new town.
That's stressful.
Do your research and figure out what it costs to live in the place where you think you want to move to, because it's not as bad. It's almost 1-for-1 between here and Fayetteville where I was at, but it's a little bit more expensive here. Hey, what's the commute look like for the places that you're going to want to work? If you're going to spend an hour in traffic, not counting getting to the freeway, is that something you're going to be happy with? So I'm really looking forward to a job where I can work remote, but I understand I might have to venture to the office, a couple times a week or something. So,
hey, if you get shift work, you'll be set, man.
Yeah, something where I'm not driving home at 3:00 in the afternoon. We'll call it good, because that's bad.
That was like 2 hours from Atlanta down to McDonough. I'll tell you.
There was an accident just north. It was southbound, just south of the 675 split the other day.
Yeah.
And I got off the highway just on the other side of 675, and it took 45 minutes to go the long way around, but that was still
Yeah.
a lot shorter than what Waze was telling me. So,
And you kept moving too, right?
yeah.
Hey, so since you retired and finance is a big thing, since you're married, did you take the survivor benefits plan? And if so, why? If not, why not?
Yeah, so actually I did. I took the survivor benefits only for dependents only.
Okay.
Like I said, I have a son. He's only 4 right now, so I figure he'll most definitely outlive me and my wife. But we opted not to take the full SBP package because we've had our own external life insurance beyond SGLI for probably the last 15 years.
Oh,
So
good.
we're straight there, and it's whole life insurance, not term. So
Okay.
for those that don't know, right, like there's different kinds of life insurance, and the premiums are what they are because of it. But if you have a life insurance policy before you get out, like you don't have to get reevaluated, right?
That is so important when you get older.
It's crazy, and if you buy it when you're young and healthy, it's cheap. So, I was like, hey, I'm not going to take SBP because I think I can get a job where I can make up for that and put money away. We've had investments in place for a long time, and all that stuff's doing what it needs to do. So for us, the cost, the cost benefit analysis of SBP versus whatever, like we would have had to live till we were like 90 years old or something for it to pay out and make sense. And I was like, I don't think we'll get there. So we'll go the route we were.
Come on, man. Think positive, man. You're McDonough now.
Yeah. We'll live a long time, but the statistics, at least in my family bloodline, they don't run that great. So
okay,
we'll see what happens. But 90 years old,
genetics,
I think I'll make it.
Okay, so that's smart though. So some people buy term before they get out for like 20 or 30 years. You bought whole sooner, so it's cheaper for you. But I'll tell you that medical evaluation, if you get life insurance in your 20s or 30s and you want to roll it over some other time, there's no medical evaluation. So that's a good point right there.
Yep.
So why did you choose to go with HireMilitary, and why did you choose TechQual over the other opportunities?
So HireMilitary stuck out to me. Like I said, I talked to Mike Quinn during the LinkedIn seminar and the class way back when, and that was before HireMilitary, I think, came into existence. So, following him, following you, Matt, and getting to know the people and learning about what HireMilitary was doing, what your guys' purpose was. Like I saw in the opportunity or in the organization a huge opportunity there. People that have come from the same place I'm coming from, understand the problems, and are actively working to try to help people get beyond those. I was like, this is a program I definitely should try to get to be a part of.
It's funny you mention that because the HireMilitary team is made up by those veterans that transitioned and a military spouse. So we've all been there. We all know what it's like. So we try a little bit harder because we know the anxieties and stressors of transition. And if we can alleviate a little bit of that, that's what we do.
It's a win, man. Like I said, you get it, right? TechQual, I had the same kind of warm and fuzzy about. Yeah, Todd Brown was the CEO. Now he's moved on to a position in Dell, right? Mm-hmm. He was not a military veteran, but a lot of the people on the team were. Some of the other co-founders and some of the other mentors and mentees within the program over at TechQual are military veterans from all walks of life. Some of those guys, Ed, Chris, John, what's her name, Cynthia, like a lot of those folks that are out there in the private sector, commercial sector now, were in the service a while back, and they get it too. They're like, hey, how can we take advantage in our jobs and roles that we have now of those people leaving the service now? And because we know the skills, the capability, the ability that our veterans have. There's a lot of folks out there, a lot of companies out there that are looking to take advantage of veterans, and I think Mike said something about this on his post the other day. TechQual and HireMilitary didn't strike me as one of those. And once I got to talk to you guys and the team over at TechQual and got to know you, I'm like, this is a no-brainer.
And now you're passing on the information because we know brands are built by word of mouth. So This is why we would bring you on to talk about your transition to help you out and hopefully help the next generation out, because 240,000 people transition each year. These conversations are helping. We know that. We get all the feedback. They watch the videos every day. It's tens of thousands of views each day. Watch a video. So Antonio, if you had to give maybe 2 or 3 tips from Antonio to transitioning folks, what would they be?
First and foremost, start early, earlier than you think. I don't know how many people I talked to, leading up to my decision and my transition beginning, but I think probably 18 to 24 months out, bare minimum. You need to be thinking about what are you going to do next? How much do you want to? I'm sorry, let me back up. What are you going to do next? Where do you want to do it, and how much do you want to get paid? Not necessarily in that order, right? But it's like the triangle, right? You're 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to compromise on one of them to get to a place where you can be comfortable. Mm-hmm. And just really, really start thinking about that early on. It took me, it wasn't probably until about 12 months out that I really kind of solidified what I wanted to do next, right? And that I wanted to stay technical, I wanted to stay in IT, and I wanted to do it in the Atlanta area, right? Pay is kind of negotiable depending on what the job calls for. We can mm-hmm. figure that out. But because I'm a retiree, I got a little bit more flexibility and leeway.
Whoa! Don't mention that, right? Don't bring that to the negotiations, right?
Don't tell the employer that. But for me, for you as a person, you know what your circumstances are when it comes to money. The job of that employer, that recruit team, is to get you for the least amount they can get you for, right? You're on the opposite end of that spectrum. So yeah, start way earlier than you think you might have needed to start. The next absolutely is networking. Start talking to people. Get outside of your comfort zone. Learn things that you don't know, didn't have interest in. But talk to people doing the things you think you want to do. Because it's different on the outside. A network engineer in the Army is dealing with a set amount, certain pieces of equipment, using them in a certain way. It's not that way on the civilian side, right? In the commercial sector, there's people mm-hmm. doing all kinds of things. Talk to some of those folks. Have those conversations over coffee, informational interviews, right? Get to know the world that you're about to walk into, and that'll help you form your plan for how long it's going to take to get there. There was a guy on the other day, Garfield, right? I think
Great guy.
He took it. Who do you take a job with? Not Salesforce. Workforce Insight, right?
Workforce Insight. Yep.
Yeah. He said some of the same stuff, right? Like, be open to trying other things. Like, you would not believe the number of people that are out there just looking for good management. Not to drag my wife into it, but my wife works for Walgreens. She's worked for Walgreens for almost 15 years, and she's been in a bunch of different stores, some with really good management and some with absolutely atrocious management. The places with the worst management, they're the ones that folks go running and screaming from.
Yeah.
But with just a little bit of employee empowerment and understanding about what's right, like you can turn a work environment around in a couple of weeks if the people are bought into it and know what right looks like.
That culture is important, though. True.
It's huge. And that was one of the things that somebody was. There's another young lady I listened to on LinkedIn yesterday that was talking about culture and positive reinforcement and staying positive even in negative situations. I mean, look at us all now, right? Nobody would have pictured a year ago, 80% of the population of the U.S. would be working from home.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. But now that we are, it's opened up all these opportunities to do things differently, right? Be to move faster, be more agile, and be creative in problem solving. And I think, that's one of the skills that folks in the military bring with them that is kind of flown under
adaptability,
the radar for a lot of folks. Yeah, it's just being able to look at a problem and come up with creative ways to solve it, not just because, hey, the SOP said do it this way.
True. Hey, we have a question from Philip Williams. He asks, who did you get help from your resume, and how did you make it stand out?
So I talked to, there was an O2O workshop that I went to. I didn't actually go into the O2O program, but the service coordinator actually gave me a couple pointers on my resume initially. I got a lot of help from the folks over at TechQual.
Was it Veronica Cervantes?
Yep, Veronica. She was awesome.
She's awesome.
Awesome. I kind of regret that I didn't go that route sometimes. But after starting TechQual, I was like, man, this is the right thing to do for me right now. Now that I'm a veteran, I might look O2O back up again because
There you go. Our opportunity is.
I just have to wait till I'm on officially veteran status before I
That's
can
right.
But yeah, Veronica was super helpful. There was another one of the SFL TAP instructors actually, kind of stayed back a little bit after one of the classes and gave me a little bit of help with my resume. So I mean, again, don't hesitate to ask the folks that are to your left and right. Ask the instructors. Ask questions. You can't get no support if you don't ask.
And for resume assistance, if you want to reach out to USO Pathfinder team, they're local to most installations, Hire Heroes USA. They're there for you. Use the resources because the resume is important, yes, but networking is so much more important. So network first, get that resume tailored to opportunities, but USO Pathfinders, Hire Heroes USA, they're there for you.
Yeah, Rich McLeod, Derek Fort Bragg.
Oh yeah,
Derek out at Fort Stewart. Those guys are super helpful, and they've got somebody at every base, like you said, the USO Pathfinder team. And
it makes sense too. So you gave us 2 tips. So if you're an employer in the Atlanta area, reach out. I mean, I'll change this LinkedIn so your name will populate, so I can click on your name. Just reach out to Antonio. He wants to do some work in the Atlanta area. He doesn't mind traffic. He'd rather do shift work or remote because traffic we know is not so great there.
Yeah.
But he's willing to negotiate salary, but don't go cheap on him, right? He's got some experience under his belt, so don't go cheap. So so is there any companies you're looking to target that we can help you out with?
Yeah. I mean, Dell. There was a job I was looking at from it's like Cloud AI or something just the other day. I'll have to get back to you.
Okay,
There's a couple of them that are out there.
Well, it will help you out though. HireMilitary Jobs is there too. Get on there. Your profile is probably over there anyway because you're within 3 months. Get on there. We may have a job for you. But Antonio, any last words for us as we depart today?
Network.
I love it.
I'm telling you, just don't understand how important it is.
Yeah, if someone asks you for a call or if you ask someone for a call, take the call. Sometimes it's a scam. I get that.
Yeah.
But sometimes regular guys like myself, we'll just talk to you. We'll talk you through things. So, hey, Antonio, I'm glad you're back there in Atlanta with your family because it's important. I'm glad you're transitioning and it's going successful. You paid your debt down. That's awesome. And I look forward to seeing your success story in the next couple of months, the job you got, and then how you pull people with you going forward.
I'm looking forward to, Matt.
All right, Antonio. Hey, don't be a stranger. I'm on LinkedIn, as always. So, hey, until next time, we'll see you later, okay? Thanks for tuning in today.
Yeah, thanks.
Take care.
Guys, take care.